You're listening to Now Hear This, the official podcast of Connecticut's West Indian Independence Celebrations Incorporated. On today's podcast, we talk to Tamika Keith, the new director of Hartford's Cultural Dance Troupe of the West Indies. Okay, so Tamika, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Natasha, for having me.
So can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and how you got involved with the Cultural Dance Troupe of the West Indies? What's your history with them and all the other good stuff?
Okay, so I am the granddaughter of Cedric Newman, Sr., one of the founding fathers of the West Indian Social Club. They started off on Barber Street before they moved to the Main Street building. So during those processes, those were like the beginning stages of the West Indian. So in that era, those men and women took the legacy, the culture, they took it very seriously. So we being involved with the parade and with the parade activities was a requirement in my family. So we kind of didn't have a choice. We had to march in the parade. We had to be a part of the celebrations, bashments. You know, everybody say, like, because when I was older, I would be out and everything, and you know, people kind of knew me like, oh, she grew up in the dance, she grew up in the band and the bashment or whatever, and that was my family. You know, it was an obligation. It was a requirement to participate in the West Indian Week celebrations.
Okay, so were you a member of the original West Indian Cultural Dance Troupe? Because you know this is the original dance troupe. All these other groups came. All of these other groups, I believe, came after that organization was started.
Well, no, it's not the fact that they came after the organization. They came out of this organization.
Right.
So I started dancing with the Cultural Dance Troupe of the West Indies at the age of 7. And I, at one point in my life, that this was all I looked forward to every single year, every single weekend. I can remember just only thinking about summertime program performances. It was just like the highlight of my little life at one point. And as I mentioned, a lot of the organizations that are currently in the city of Hartford, greater Hartford area, I grew up with these men and women. And I grew up with them at the Cultural Dance Troupe, where Miss Valencia Coleman, sacrificed her life, literally. She literally sacrificed her life to provide cultural identity to a growing population of West Indians, and then some. You know, as the culture started to mix, and it became West Indian American, West Indian and Puerto Rican American. West Indian, when things just begin to mix, she also she transitioned with the times. So Miss Val ran this company almost independently for about over 40 years.
Wow.
She's raised generations after generations. There are generations of professional men and women that have come from this organization. This organization has record proof of success, and you can look outside in the community, and you can see the fruits of her labor and the dedication and perseverance that she put into the community. You know, and with nothing that I always joke and I tell people. You know, because she has the company dancers, and you know, when I first started this role, it was like, wow, how did I get here? Like, how did I get this? But then what I would think about, my position, even with her as a child in life. So, you have the company dancers and you have, everything, the moving parts. Was the kid that would always run off, and she had like a couch when there was the storefront that they had on Main Street. She had like a couch, and then she had like the costumes, and then she had her desk with her computer set up and things like that. And I would hide from Mr. Henke, and I would go and I would hide in the back of the couch and I would watch her. And I would recall even going home to my mother and saying, what is she doing? Because she would always either be at the computer, and then if she wasn't at the computer, then she would turn around, she would observe the dance class, but she would get right back to the computer. And I would watch her do this. Sometimes I would leave, I would go and I would sit next to her and, just to be next to her, So now that I'm in this role, and she kept everything from 2023, from 1982. She kept everything. She preserved everything. I finally get to see what she was doing all of those years, and it's just God is answering a question for me, because I always wanted to know what in the world is Miss Val doing at that computer, and and it took over 20 years, but I finally got the answer to that question. She was saving the world. That's what she was doing. She was providing a need that had that need not been provided, our community would be different. Our community would be different. I mean, some of the lawyers, doctors, you have even one of the program alumni. She's an executive director of HGTV. I mean, this program produced some big careers and names.
Wow.
And I could even, as myself, my daughter is now 18 years old. She started with the dance troupe at 3 years old, and now she does choreography and instruction. I have record of even my niece, my older sister, filtering through the program. So many names and faces of people that we see every single day has come out of this program. So this program is extremely special. It's extremely special, and something that the community needs. And it's nothing against the other troops, because she imparted in those men and women, and they were able to go out and they were able to create from those gifts that was given. And mind you, we were given these gifts for free. We never paid for costuming. We never paid for field trips. She brought us to New York for New York Labor Day Parade. She brought us to Canada for Caravana. She did all of these things, and she did all of these things, and she did not require a dime from the children. So a lot of these things, and even the troops that have been created, these people have walked away from this organization with these skills free of charge, and
Wow.
it feeds them, it feeds their families, and it's sustaining their life. So
Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing. So tell me, how is the organization going to be different under your leadership from Miss Val's? Was there the similarities, and what are some of the differences that you're bringing to the organization?
I mean, the only difference that I'm going to be bringing is that I want to expand the program. I promised that I would keep the program in the Barber Street, Main Street area, in the West Indian and Hartford community, and
Wonderful.
that it will remain. But my intentions is to extend it to other neighborhoods and other cities and other parts of the world, because they too need this program. And this program has record of success. It's evidence based, effective. So there needs to be an extension of it,
Right. And
and our kids need, yeah.
wow, that's amazing. I didn't realize that all of the program was for free to offered for free to the community. So are you going to be continuing with that, or is this going to be a tuition based program now, or how does that work?
The goal is to continue it for free, but funding is an issue for us. One, I was very disappointed this funding season, just because, the Cultural Dance Troupe has provided the city of Hartford with tourist attractions. You can go and you can see the kids in the costumes all over downtown Hartford. There's been performance all over the place and everything. So this organization has more than served its purpose in this city. So when there comes for grant season, or where monies to keep it afloat, to keep it doing what it's been doing for the past over 40 years, this year I just did not get that support, and it was very, very, very discouraging, and very, very depressing, actually, because Miss Val, she left her job 30 years ago, and she's an 82-year-old woman, and she wasn't looking forward. She was to, like retirement benefits and all of these different things. She was looking forward to providing something for the children, and that was her main goal. That's what she had in mind to do. I just feel like the city owes this organization so much more than what they're trying to give. And I feel like they're trying to make me prove something. But I'm a product of this. I am the proof. I am one of the little kids that benefited from this. So if you want proof of this organization and the funding that it needs, look at me, you know? So those are the things, it just needs assistance to stay afloat. And that was one of her issues. She needed assistance to stay afloat, and that is the fight that she has been fighting, and I've kind of picked up that fight, and I have no idea how she's been fighting this fight, by herself so many years, because it's so heavy. It is so heavy, but the assistance is needed.
I know you mentioned some of the people that came out of the dance troupe of the West Indies. Without mentioning names, I know one of their students actually danced with the National Dance Theater of Jamaica. I think I'm saying it
Adrian
correctly.
Fletcher, yes,
I
yes.
They dance professionally. Actually, Adrian came out of the National Dance Theater of Jamaica, and I believe he was an instructor there. But there's one of her students dance with them professionally, and I remember when they came to Hartford back in the days, she actually came back with them. And I mean, it was like a full circle thing for us to see, this young dancer who started here in Hartford, who went to Jamaica. And I believe she was actually born here, who went to Jamaica, danced professionally with the National Dance Theater of Jamaica, and then came back here to perform for
And we
us.
came back. Yes.
So there's her, and there's the young lady who I believe is the president now of Nightfall. I believe she also came out of the West Indies Cultural Dance Troupe. So you're right. There is a whole bunch of people that came out of that organization who went on to do stuff professionally in the art world. So yes, it is
I
really
mean, even
needed.
what we have the great Stephen Henke. She actually traveled to Trinidad
Wow.
and she brought him back from Trinidad on scholarship, you know, gave him schooling on scholarship. And he is one of the most important and influential dance instructors, probably in the greater Hartford area.
Wow.
I don't think there is anyone that is versed culturally in dance art forms teaching at universities outside of him. I believe he's the only one.
I know you mentioned that
So
you didn't get the support financially that you were expecting from the city. I assume that are through grant programs. How can the community support this organization financially to make sure that this continues for generations to come?
we need the money. We need the money. We need the donations. We need the volunteer support. The kids, one thing about the kids is everyone, and this is the thing about Miss Val. it did not matter how bad a child was perceived to the public. It's like she took on the worst cases. That's what she was there for. She was there to rehab and rehabilitate, to rehabilitate the children affected by trauma, the children with the behavioral issues. That is program serves as. You could not kick those children out of the program no matter what they did, because that is the reason why the program exists.
Right.
To help them, to give them that which the society would not give them because of their economic status. So, I lost my train. So we need the support of the adults. The adults have to unify, and volunteer. Like when we talk about the old days, those men and women were volunteering. They weren't looking for hourly pay because they saw the bigger picture.
Right.
Right. So that's what we need.
Well, I hope anyone that's listening to this will get in touch with Miss Keith.
Yes.
Tell us tell us what age range you're working with specifically, and when and where are rehearsals held, and how people can get in touch with you if they want to get involved with this program, either by donating their time or donating space or other resources.
Okay. So the program is going to start Monday, right? June 19th. The program is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. 8 a.m. morning time, education, enrichment, and 3 to 5 p.m. dance and drumming.
Wow.
And
where is this going to be held?
This is going to be held. The program is going back home where it originally started, at the West Indian Social Club of Hartford. Clap, clap, clap.
It's unfortunately you can't see the smile on my face, but yeah, this is another full circle moment.
It is. It really is. And I could feel it. I can feel my grandparents are proud of me. Okay. I don't need nobody else to tell me that. I know that for a fact. And I feel good about it.
So it starts Monday, June 19th, and it's an all-day program.
All-day program.
Are you still accepting students?
Yes, absolutely. It cannot be free because of funding. So what we're doing is it's $125 a week, but for those that receive SNAP, Husky, or cash assistance, you can submit your budget form, your state budget form, and then you'll be eligible for a sliding scale fee.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. And we can also accept Care for Kids for the campers. So those are some resources, because I know a lot of people do get the Care for Kids, but the kids go to school and then they have to reapply for the summer camp. So we are going to be accepting Care for Kids for summer camp.
And if people want to get in touch with you, or if they want to register their child, how do they go about doing that?
Okay, so I can be reached by phone at 203-819-8561. I'll say it again, 819-8561. Let me give the email. Emails can be sent to C as in cat, D as in David, T as in Tom, W as in watch, I as in ice cream, I as in ice, N as in Nancy, C as in cat, at gmail.com. cdtwiinc at gmail.com. That's the email address. If anybody wants to send, I can send applications and things through email, and those things can be done digital. If anybody doesn't want to come out and get the applications. Um, what else? We are looking for retired teachers for the morning time. So we have an extensive curriculum lined up. We're really, 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 really going for the mental and behavioral health this year because these kids have been traumatized and thrown back into society as if nothing happened. So we're really going to need the adult support, preferably retired teachers, educators, and those with that type of skill. And that's for the morning hours. Awesome. So come on, community. We need your support. Everybody knows who the Cultural Dance Troupe of the West Indies is. 9 times out of 10, you, your children, your mom, someone in your family was involved in this program at some point in their lifetime. And we want to keep this thing rolling.
That was Tamika Keith of the Cultural Dance Troupe of the West Indies. Join us Saturday, August 12th for our 61st Annual West Indian Independence Celebration Parade and Concert. Our concert lineup includes Mad Cobra, Moto, QQ, Kingston Rock, Nana, Kemar Dappa, Deja, Aisha Nova, Soundpiper Band, Stanley the Boy, and Lemon. Once again, that's Saturday, August 12th, our 61st Annual West Indian Independence Celebration. That's today's podcast. Thanks for joining us.